Hello viewer, if you're interested to learn more about Superboy Prime's infamous Retcon punch, then stay tuned while I reconcile the full story behind it. Disclaimers first, please support the official material. Stuff I show here is for informative purposes, and spoilers. On with the show. For sources, I'll be mostly going over parts of the Infinite Crisis storyline, along with parts of the Dark Knight's Death Metal series. All issues will be listed. In summary, I'll be covering the full context behind Superboy Prime's Retcon punch, first shown in Infinite Crisis, where he threw a punch that altered reality in the DC universe. This punch was shown in Infinite Crisis Secret Files, where Superboy Prime punches and cracks what I will describe as multiverse crystals. These crystals act as a barrier between the Paradise Dimension, where Superboy Prime resided in at that time, and the main DC universe. The crystals also display events happening in different DC universes, and even show alternate possible timelines. It's established Superboy Prime is changing reality several times whenever he punches these crystals. That is, until he runs low on power, with Superboy Prime stating that he's low on yellow sunlight. At that point, punching the crystals don't appear to change reality as before. It is then Alex Luthor gives Superboy Prime some of his antimatter powers, allowing Prime to temporarily break the barriers or multiverse crystals between the Paradise Dimension and Post-Crisis universe. While in the Post-Crisis universe, Superboy Prime presumably recharges himself, while definitely doing odd jobs for Alex. One key detail established of the Paradise Dimension is that it allows its inhabitants to change the environment based on their thoughts, up to a certain point. Earth 2, or Golden Age Superman, along with Lois, were able to shape the environment with their thoughts, while Superboy Prime and Alex could somewhat command the crystals to show whatever events they wanted to see across the DC universe. There are clear limitations shown when using thoughts to shape things in the Paradise Dimension, such as Lois becoming more exhausted when doing so. Also, it appears Superboy Prime isn't able to generate any yellow sunlight in the Paradise Dimension to replenish himself. To add to this, when everyone breaks out of the Paradise Dimension, it appears Alex took some of the multiverse crystals to build the Fortress of Solitude. It is stated there that these crystals respond to one's emotions and needs. Given the crystal's properties, the powers granted by the Paradise Dimension, and Superboy Prime's desire to bring back his home universe, with some manipulation from Alex, it appears the Paradise Dimension and Multiverse Crystal is a contributing factor for causing Superboy Prime's Retcon punch. This is further supported when Superboy Prime doesn't manifest the Retcon punch throughout the rest of the Infinite Crisis event. Furthermore, to contrast with Golden Age Superman, he was able to break the multiverse crystal barriers as well, with great difficulty. There's no indication he changed reality, but it is noted his power was needed to break them out of the Paradise Dimension. And again, given the crystal's properties and the Paradise Dimension, it's likely what helped Golden Age Superman to break everyone out of the Paradise Dimension. And since Superboy Prime is shown to be stronger than Golden Age Superman, it does suggest a very high level of power is needed to help trigger the Retcon punch. So, in summary, the combination of the Paradise Dimension's power, the multiverse crystal properties, and Superboy Prime's level of punching power is what enabled the Retcon punch. However, much later on in the Dark Knight's death metal event, Superboy Prime pulls off the Retcon punch again without the crystals or being in the Paradise Dimension. However, it only manifested when he knocked down one of the evil Supermen, then later on when fighting the Batman Who Laughs, or at least a projection of him. Similarly, the Retcon punch was shown able to affect the evil Superman's whole timeline, and when fighting against Batman Who Laughs, or his projection, the Retcon punch allowed Superboy Prime to unmake the 52 evil Earths created by Batman Who Laughs with great effort. But during this event, it appears the Retcon punch is not something Superboy Prime can use at will. As implied by his own words, he was surprised when the Retcon punch was manifested. Also, in his previous fights, such as briefly fighting Wonder Woman, and at least fighting Superboy when changing the events of Infinite Crisis, the Retcon punch did not manifest either. To my knowledge, it hasn't been stated how Superboy Prime was able to pull off the Retcon punch again. I can only speculate some things based on what the story presents. My guess is that Superboy Prime interacted with a very large concentration of crisis energy, which Batman Who Laughs definitely possessed a lot of. As for the evil Superman, it's stated everyone has crisis energy in them, but in contrast to other characters Superboy Prime fought, the evil Superman possibly had a larger concentration of crisis energy in him, and this is due to Batman Who Laughs using all the crisis energy he stole to create all these evil Supermen to fight against the DC heroes. Also, crisis energy is significant in that it is said to be born of fear and anger, where Superboy Prime definitely has a lot of anger, and possibly some fear due to being hated and shunned by other Supermen, and even Superman villains. Crisis energy also invites one to change history, which certainly coincides with Superboy Prime's Retcon punch. Now, since other characters did not exhibit this power either, it still reinforces that you need Superboy Prime levels of power to be able to still Retcon punch. Now, I want to stress again that my theory of Superboy Prime pulling off the Retcon punch due to high levels of crisis energy is purely speculation, as there isn't much explanation that I have found on how the Retcon punch was manifested in this event. Overall, the Dark Knight's death metal event still implies, to me, that you have to have Superboy Prime level power to pull off the Retcon punch, but given it only activated at certain times, suggests that some other factors are required for Superboy Prime to pull off the Retcon punch. In conclusion, it appears that you do need Superboy Prime level power to pull off the Retcon punch, but there are definitely other factors involved. During Infinite Crisis, Superboy Prime had the powers granted by the Paradise Dimension to make someone's thoughts real to a certain extent, along with the multiverse crystals working on one's emotions and desires. In Dark Knight's death metal, it does imply that some factor is required, with the main theory I came up with being a high concentration of crisis energy. Also, crisis energy itself is said to invite one to change history, which coincides with how the Retcon punch functions. So, pulling off a Retcon punch in summary requires great power, along with some forces that respond to your desires, or possibly having a lot of crisis energy. Of course, that's just me. Read the full story and make your own judgments. Okay, that's all for today. Hope you're Superboy primed with more knowledge of the Retcon punch. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe if you like, and hope to feat you again.